Great question I got asked here. NBA runner-up teams. Who should would have won out of Detroit Pistons 1988, Utah Jazz 1998? Which team? This is the runner-up. Run-up NBA teams. I'm always gonna say the Pistons got robbed out that '88. Lambeer did not foul, or Hugh Hot. Ain't it always the same referees with the suspect phantom calls? Lambeer did not foul Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That play stands. That it doesn't get touched. The Pistons may have had a three-peat. Just that close from being a three-peat for Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons. Just let that sink in. Not that it would have made a difference on the love meter because for the powers that be never cared for them. But that was that close. And I think that Pistons team with Adrian Dantley and them was strong to win. And yes, this series, Isaiah Thomas on one leg in game six hobbled and scored 25 in the third quarter, 43 for the game. Was one of the most amazing performances I've ever seen injured. So, I Pistons team was him and Dumars and them were hit on all cylinders. Chuck Daly could definitely well coached up. They played the Lakers nip and tuck. So, when you look at it, that Pistons team was one of the best teams that got robbed out of a finals chip and should have won. Because Isaiah Thomas was on a run that time. I mean, I'm not even going to lie. He led the team with 19 points. Sis man doing the thing. Doing the thing. So, you just kind of look at that in hindsight and you kind of think to yourself, yeah, that was a title team right there. They played together. That 7-game series was a battle. They were right there with the Lakers at their peak and their prime. So it depends on how you look at it, but that's how I'm looking at it. If I go to Utah in '98, what it came down to, I think, was Morris and Foster were traded to Orlando for Ronnie Cycli. Cycli failed his test, and he did end up getting traded to the Nets, but he didn't want to go to Utah. To me, that was the difference in the finals. I know people gonna bring up Jordan, and they're gonna say something about Pippen and Robin, of course. I think if the Jazz had the right center, I think that's a different series. I just do. I think Carmelo and Stockton had done enough, and Hornacek had done enough that was a pretty much evenly close series. Those back-to-back years of going six were not blowouts. They weren't easy. Now, just because Scottie Pippen can troll sometimes and say, I never know what a 7-game series is, does not mean that was an easy series. Because they had games with Utah where it was nip and tuck. And aside from a couple of games here and there, they were pretty almost evenly matched. Jordan was a difference maker with his scoring and his game time and decision for making plays. But make no mistake about it, it was pretty evenly matched. Jerry Sloan did a good enough job to coach up against Phil Jackson. Phil's bench was always said Phil Jackson knew how to coach up a bench and role players as well as any coach in any sport ever, because he got so much out of role players that people would buy him hook, line, and sink. But I'm a firm believer that if the Jazz had gotten an upgrade at center, just a good piece, I think that's a different series. I just do. Because I think Utah was close and they just couldn't finish to seal the deal. But again, tribute that to Jordan and Phil Jackson making adjustments and Scottie Pippen's defense and Rodman's impact, and Ron Harper and Kukos. Those guys all came through. Everybody played their part in that series because they had to. But if you ask me who was the better of the two runner-up teams that didn't win, I'm going to say Detroit '88. Make no mistake about it. And with Adrian Dantley, he'd have been a handful for Utah. And I think the Pistons would have won. I think Isaiah was a better guard than Stockton. And I think the Pistons got, Carl Malone's side, I think they got enough to win it. But let me know what you think. Detroit Pistons '88 versus Utah Jazz '98. Which runner-up team would have won the chip if those two had got a chance to play? Let me know, and how Chuck Daly and Jerry Sloan would strategize against one another. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share the video if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. On my one time. Peace.